Welcome to the video. Today we're going to be going through this code here, and I've asked you on social media to have a look through and see if you can spot the errors. So let's go ahead and do that now. So let's go through what this code actually does. First off, first line, number one, we've got name is equal to input, please enter your name. So this is taking an input from the user, and we're going to store it as a variable called name. So name is equal to input, and we've got a prompt of please enter your name. That's what's going to show up on their screen. If name is equal is the same as Gary. So if they enter something that says Gary with a capital G, print welcome Gary. If they put in anything else, print sorry only Gary is allowed. So have a look through this code, see if we can actually spot what the error is. I'm going to give you a minute or so to figure it out. Okay, so hopefully you've spotted some of the errors. Let's take a quick look. So the first thing that I see that's off, it's the indentation. So again, when we first teach Python, indentation is something that people get wrong all the time. And it's no surprise really, because sometimes when you're actually typing out Python, the IDE doesn't help you very much when you are typing out things that need indentation. If we do something like an if statement, it does automatically indent the code. So let's just try writing, or let's just do this again. So when we put the colon in, you'll see that it automatically actually indents the code for us. So that's great. So that's fine. But our problem comes when we want to actually put in elif statements, so else if or else statements. So if we want to say in the code, in the logic, something else, if something else happens, or else to capture anything else. So I'll give you an example here. So let's say we're going to type in else or else if or elif. Okay, we put our colon in at the end. Or elif name is equal to Fred, for example. Okay, it does indent it there for us, but what it doesn't do for our elif statement, it doesn't take it back to where it needs to be. So remember that our if statements, our elif statements, and our else statements should all be in line with each other. Okay, so when we've written our print statement here, and then we want the else statement, unfortunately what it's done, it's actually put it indented, whereas our else statement needs to actually be in line with this if statement here. So our if statements and our else statements need to line up together. If they're not lined up together, it's not going to work. Okay, so let's run that now. Let's see if we've solved our problem. Click on the run button. Please enter your name. Let's enter Gary. Name error name. Names is not defined on line 2. This error here is saying that we've got an error on line 2, and it's pointing to this bit here, names. So the second error in our program, what we've done here, we've put two different variable names. In the first line, we've declared a variable called name, and we've stored our input into that variable there. Remember, a variable is just kind of like a box. We store things into the variable, and then we can look back at that variable. We can look back at the label of the box, which in this case is names, and we can have a look and see what's inside of it. If names is equal to Gary, we actually just need to take the S off. This is something that people forget if they're doing particularly long programs. They actually forget what they've named their variables. Some IDEs actually help you with this. So if you start to type in names, for example, it would try and auto-complete that to try and help you out. But in this case, it hasn't done that. And what we've just put names because we've forgotten what our variable was called. So let's run that again. Please enter your name. Let's enter Gary with a capital G. Welcome Gary. So our code works if we get the name correct. Again, remember a little tip on your input on the first line. Name is equal to input, please enter your name. Put a space at the end of it if we're asking a prompt, because that will input a little space between what we're typing in and what we're actually prompting them to do. So it just looks a bit cleaner. Let's run that again. Please enter your name. Let's put in Fred this time. Sorry, only Gary is allowed. So our logic works. If they enter the word Gary in, it works. If they don't, if they enter something else, it's going to say sorry, only Gary is allowed. So we've tested our code. It all works. The logic works. Everything works as far as we are concerned. So we have solved all of the errors that were there. Okay, thanks for watching the video. if you could please like or subscribe to the channel, that would be really good and help us out. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.